Good afternoon to everyone gathered here. With deep pranams to His Holiness Jagadguru Sri Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswamiji, I, Dr. T. Sushma, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering, JSSTU, extend a warm and respectful welcome to all the dignitaries, faculty members, students, and distinguished guests present here today. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this panel discussion on bridging future technologies, green energy, healthcare with AI, and advanced electronics. We live in an era where innovation and sustainability go hand in hand. Green energy is redefining how we power our world. Artificial intelligence is revolutionizing healthcare, and advanced electronics are enabling smarter and more efficient systems. Today's discussion brings together experts from these diverse yet interconnected domains, helping us understand how technology can truly serve humanity. We are honored to have with us an eminent panel of experts who have made outstanding contributions in their respective fields. I now take this opportunity to invite our distinguished panelists to the dais and request them to kindly take their seats. May I invite Dr. Ravichandra Kulkarni, Dr. Nandish S., Mr. Shashidhara Dongre, Dr. Tejaswini, Mr. Srinivas Varadarajan, and Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni. We are delighted and honored to have you all with us today. As a gesture of respect, gratitude, we would now like to offer saplings to our distinguished panelists as a token of appreciation. I request Dr. Mallikarjun Swamy sir to hand over the sapling. Sir. I request UVM sir to hand over the sapling to Dr. Nandish S. I request Dr. Sujata Kumari ma'am to welcome Dr. Tejaswini ma'am. Dr. Anita ma'am to welcome Mr. Srinivas Varadarajan. I request Dr. Neeti to welcome Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni sir. Thank you, everyone. I request Dr. Rekha ma'am to welcome Dr. Shashidhara Dongre sir. Let this gesture symbolize growth, positivity, and a collective commitment to nurturing a greener tomorrow. To formally introduce our distinguished panel members to the audience, I now request Professor Anusha and Professor Ashwini to take over and introduce the panelists.
Good afternoon, everyone. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Shashidhar Dongre, sir. Mr. Shashidhar Dongre M is an IEEE senior member and the global head of process and quality at L&T Technology Services. With over 3 decades of distinguished global experience, he has made defining and implementing digital transformation strategies across diverse industries, leading large global teams and fostering innovation in AI, IoT, and smart product development. A passionate academician and thought leader, Mr. Dongre teaches postgraduate and undergraduate courses at SJCE Mysore actively contributes to IEEE standards on autonomous systems and has published extensively in reputed international journals. Beyond his professional accomplishments, he is also deeply engaged in fine arts, theatre, and science communication. He has delivered a TED Talk, authored books, and adapted several acclaimed Kannada plays, exemplifying a unique blend of technological excellence and cultural depth. Mr. Shashidhar Dongre is an IEEE member, and beyond his professional accomplishment, he is also deeply engaged in fine arts. So, your presence added an immense value to this event, sir. Welcome.
Good afternoon, all. I am very grateful to introduce the speaker, Dr. Ravichandra Kulkarni. Born to a noble and hardworking son of Srimati Geeta and Sri Hanumantarao Kulkarni, he took up his academic and research journey up to the New Zealand and back to Mysore, currently working as a professor and head cybersecurity and dean research that is R&D at Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. He is an engineering professional with more than 12 years of experience spanning over academics, industry, and collaborative international research. After a small stint of research experience at IIT Madras, he moved on to New Zealand and did his PhD. During PhD, he also got an opportunity to work with a team of leading scientists on applied superconductivity Wellington. While in New Zealand, he has worked as program leader, R&D engineer, production support technician, and also worked as event manager, crew member of Cricket World Cup 2016. He has published, reviewed for reputed conferences and journals. He has published one Indian and one European patent in the domain of EV. And has been part of Student Union, Science Clubs, IEEE. He had also floated his own student club in SJCE by name Trend, which was active in conducting techno-cultural activities. He has many awards listed as IEEE Outstanding Student Branch Counselor, Research Scholarship Award, Physics College Topper Award in PUC, IEEE PES Travel Grant Award. Welcome you, sir.
Dr. Tejaswini ME. She's a senior manager at Vasudha Foundation, a leading think tank on climate and energy policies in India. She earned her PhD in environmental technology under the prestigious Marie Skłodowska Curie European Joint Doctoral Program and has over 11 years of experience in climate policy, environmental technology, and sustainable transitions. She has previously worked with the Karnataka State Pollution Control Board and Environmental Management and Policy Research Institute on environmental governance and policy research. At Vasudha Foundation, she leads work on climate resilience planning, decarbonization pathways, and clean energy integration, and has authored several research papers contributing to India's low carbon and climate resilient development agenda. Thank you for gracing the occasion.
Dr. Nandish, Bachelor of Engineering, Biomedical and Engineering, Masters in Medical Software, and PhD in Medical Imaging. Currently, the Director of AI and Data Analytics, InnoTech Private Limited. Sir is employed by L&T Technology Services in Mysore as a specialist in medical imaging and AI COE. Sir has over 14 years of research expertise in the field of medical imaging and healthcare data analytics. In addition to that, 10 plus years of professor at Manipal Academy of Higher Education before joining to L&T. He is a biomedical engineer who completed his Masters of Science in Medical Software at Manipal University after graduating. During his doctoral studies at Manipal Academy of Higher Education, he continued his research in the field of multimodal medical image registration and fusion for neurosurgical planning. Sir has published more than 25 papers, research articles in various journals and international conferences. Through workshops and seminars, he shared his knowledge to help students to learn how to use Insight Toolkit and Visualization Toolkit to create medical image processing and visualization applications. He received an invitation to conduct a workshop on medical image application development using both the kits of School of Engineering in Paris. He believes that research and development should not be carried out in the vacuum and in constantly searching for opportunities to engage with professionals from various disciplines. The motto is interact and innovate. Nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, sir, is a professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering at JSS Science and Technology University, Mysore. He holds a PhD in Electrical Engineering from Old Dominion University, USA, and has over 20 decades of teaching and research experience. His areas of expertise include space science and technology, signal and image processing, control systems, and artificial intelligence applications. He has guided 10 PhD scholars and published numerous research papers in reputed journals and conferences. Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni currently serves as the chair of IEEE Mysore subsection and is the project coordinator of JSS Nano Satellite Program, Jnanam. He has also contributed to the development of several advanced laboratories and authored an e-book on signals and systems and controls in Kannada. Thank you for your gracious presence.
Srinivas Vardarajan, sir, is working as a visionary technology leader, innovator, and sustainability advocate with more than 3 decades of experience in the information technology industry. As a CEO and founder of Vignan Labs Innovation Private Limited, a pioneer in the company based in Mysore, Karnataka, he is driving the global movement towards energy-efficient computing, green micro data centers, and AI-native cloud solutions. Widely respected as one of the principal architects of Aadhaar's India's landmark digital identity projects, where his architectural leadership helped to shape one of the world's largest and most secure identity platforms. We are happy to have you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Anusha and Professor Ashwini, for the wonderful introduction. Now, to take the discussion forward, I would like to request Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, sir, one of our distinguished panelists, to kindly take charge of the session and lead the discussion on today's theme. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Very good afternoon to one and all. I welcome all to this panel discussion as a part of the international conference. The panel theme is Bridging Future Technologies, Green Energy, Healthcare with AI and Advanced Electronics. Okay. So, last couple of days in the conference, the frequent message that we are getting is that we are in an unprecedented state of flux. We are going through the kind of dynamic changes across various fields is unprecedented. So every field, be it industry, educationists, or policymakers, each one is facing his or her own challenges in this era of AI and advanced electronics. So I'll start with Shashidhar Dongre, who has a vast background in embedded systems with various applications, including automotive, grid vehicles, etc. So Shashidhar, so what do you think is the current state and what are the challenges, especially in embedded systems, advanced electronics? So how do we go about it?
Thanks, Dr. Puneet. I had a presentation. Can I run that? Yes, sir. before the before the presentation comes up, this whole theme is a little potpourri of various things. On the one hand, it is embedded. On the other hand, it's green energy, and then policy and then things like that. So I'm sure there will be a little bit of a disconnect, right? Between that, that's fine. Right? So we'll go on this. Right? So. Yeah. So I will spend a few minutes only, right, to kind of map AI and embedded world with all the chat GPTs and Geminis of the world, etc. It is slightly far away from the embedded portion. So it is important that we have our feet firmly on the ground, not bother a little bit for time. Away from the Gemini, Copilot, and all of that. So if you look at the overall industry, right, of the auto industry, I'll be specific about auto only, right, for this time. So if you look at this, these are all the places where AI could get used when it comes to auto industry. But where embedded AI will get used is the places where tick marks are there, right? Obviously, it will be there for passenger experience, the right or left-hand side there, and it could be there for driver experience. It will definitely there in design, right, and a bit of there in quality control, and a bit there in manufacturing. When it comes to supply chain, insurance, car dealers, etc., AI could be there, but it may not be embedded AI, right? So that is the differentiation we must be able to bring it in, right? If I can go to the next slide. How do I do? Yes, sir. Yeah. So this thing is not visible very clearly, but the whole idea is that today the car has these many sensors, right? When you have these many sensors, obviously all this data has to be processed first. So each and every sensor data has to be processed. So which means at the beginning of that, you will have an ECU, right? Receiving those sensor data and then processing it further. If I can go to the next slide. So within the AI kind of a thing, if you go to the right hand side of the slide, you will see three broad needs for AI implementation and embedded AI implementation in auto. First is the model building, right? The so-called uses billions of parameters and then uses the model building, etc. But models don't get used actually in the car. In the car, what gets done is inference, right? Using all those models, you need to inference something, whether object is a dog or a cat or a human being or whatever, right? So the process of model building is offline, whereas inferencing is online, right? So as far as embedded auto is concerned, inferencing should be the main topic there. Some people say, or some people, there are initial things of GenAI also being there, but GenAI is also offline, right? So if you look at these three AI boxes, right, you will find that model building and GenAI typically gets used during the design process, right, of the auto electronics, whereas the inferencing happens within when the car moves, right? That is what you will see the inferencing, AI inferencing coming into picture. So you will see that driver safety, obviously, driver monitoring and risk assessment, for example, it need not be when I say driver assistant, it need not be driverless always, right? There are several layers there. It could be assisted drivership. It could be passenger experience. In one of the asks from one of the major OEMs for us was to pump O3, ozone, into the car when the oxygen was less in the car, right? You have those esoteric kind of demands as well. The question is, how do you sense that what is the level of oxygen which is appropriate for the passenger, right? When there are four people, how do you do that? When you have only one person, how do you do that? When the door is opened, how do you do that? When the door is closed, how do you do that, right? So these are all the subcategories which get into complexities of implementation within a car, right? Go to the next slide. But from an embedded perspective, what I think all of you are academicians here, right, is extremely, extremely important to understand that time requirements are hugely important, right? We are talking about 10 to 100 milliseconds of time. If you get any inference, which is more than 100 milliseconds, that in the output is waste, right? You are not going to use it, right? Similarly, frame rates have to be much higher, right? Why I'm specifically saying this, because if you go back to the previous slide, all of the hardware, right, which is done either NVIDIA or Qualcomm or NSR or Texas, etc. These are the latest and the greatest which is used. And when we speak about the difference between the engineers coming out of the industry and then what is needed, I think a hands-on experience on these hardware platforms would be preferred, right? So it is good that academicians actually go out to these companies, then they'll be able to help out and to get hands-on experience in some of these platforms. So that would be essential to do this. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide. And these are all the several numbers which are there. Now, do we bother about it during the academician's course, right, or the project members about such items, right? I have been participating in project reviews with many colleges, right, and then we ask these questions during interviews, etc., etc. Even the measurement of 10 point so many milliseconds, etc., or the frequency responses, etc., we find it difficult for people to follow, right? The time domain, frequency domain kind of a differentiation, etc., is hard to come by. And when such fundamentals don't get attention, we get worried, saying that what is studied here and then what is needed by the industry doesn't seem to match, right? So I just wanted to highlight that performance aspect of it, not necessarily only feature, is an extremely important aspect. And given all of these, I have only one recommendation, sir. Then we can get into a conversation. Right? We can go to the next slide. We'll go on to the last slide. Yeah, next slide. These are the few things, right? So as a concluding thing, right, I think I would recommend that academicians should get the latest of the hardware platforms onto their labs. People should be able to get hands-on, their hands dirty with respect to these platforms. Second is, it's not enough to get the hardware platforms. All the hardware platforms have corresponding software platforms today, right? For example, NVIDIA being CUDA. So we also need to worry equally about the software platforms when it comes to hardware platforms as well. And the performance requirements, as I showed you earlier, should be the focus and not necessarily only the feature development of a particular product. Right? So these are the few things which I thought I'll combine what is happening on embedded AI, etc. Those of you who are interested to know what is the world going through, you can go to stanford.edu. They publish a quarterly report on AI progress, right? It's a fantastic to know what is happening. So once you go there, and then you will get to know what is the world's latest, and then it will be easier to follow them, right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shishir. So, my question to Srinivas is, I think it would be better if you can explain the kind of work that you are doing with your organization, particularly touching upon the issue of green energy.
Yeah. So that's a new.
Use this. Yes, better.
It's working. It was working.
So you can use the
Loud, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. See, one of the things intrigued me long back. I'll just tell a little bit of history. What happened, right? So we all use energy everywhere, right? Light. And India has been always. We all grew up in a country where we had power cuts. At least I did my 8th exam in a lamp, candle lamp. I studied everything. People today might find it very hard. Schools, I think when we were earlier schools, there was no water for a month. I actually carried water. So we all grew up in an environment where scarcity. And as we grew up, as we got abundance, we always looked at, right, abundance. And one of the things which opened up my eyes was Aadhaar, actually. When we started building a data center, right, just to tell you the history of Aadhaar was, when we were asked to build one, design one, right, we looked at, what does it take to build one? How expensive is it? Do you have the money in the country? Do you have the resources to provide it? We studied the American model. The largest biometric system was built was US Visa, long back, 15, 20 years back. They had 30 million users and it cost them $5 per person, $50 per person. Now, given India, 1.5 billion into 50, so now not affordable at all. How do you solve that, right? So I was told that you have to do it in $1 per person, $50 to 1. Not easy. A big number. How do you change? Then from a technology side, to look at a business aspect of it, commercial technology, weighted everything, and look at all the cost structures. One of the things which opened up was, because if you look at biometrics, nothing but biometric deduplication, nothing but like a sort of HPC and AI. We need a lot of computation to do, massive computation to do, right? It is a parallel processing to do. So we looked at the data and what the US had done, we extrapolated. We needed about 100,000 servers. Way back in 2009, we need 50 megawatt of power. You know how hard it is to get 50 megawatt quickly in India? KXP board approval, substation to be set up. We were told that it will take 50 megawatt, 2-3 years to get a substation, new substation, get all the approvals. Way back. Maybe today is better now. Then, of course, 100,000 servers was big. We need almost, 4,000 rack data center, massive, megawatts, 50 megawatt power. We said, this is unsustainable. Then it opened my eyes, that how much energy IT is consuming. We always look at the world is going to grow bigger and bigger. We look at the aviation industry. I think way back in 15 years back, we were almost hitting the energy consumption of the aviation industry. Someday it's going to become bigger and bigger. Let us relook at it, right? Now, how do you reduce the cost 50 to 1? It's not a joke. Tough. But you look at everything. One thing occurred to me was this 100,000 servers is not sustainable. Can you get it to less than 1/10 of it? How do you get 1/10? It's not easy. So we looked at algorithm, rewrote the algorithm, n-square algorithm. We made sort of n log n. Almost 6 months and mathematical proof. We proved actually mathematically because nobody believed that you can do it. Right? We mathematically proved. Reduced to 1/10, and then we did many more things. Finally, we did about less than 5 megawatt. That opened my eyes. Future is going to be computing world. Energy is going to be a big problem. And for cooling, you use water. For every kilowatt of energy consumed, we consume 2 liters of water. Well, today. Then we did, finally we made other work. Story is there today. See, reduce to less than $1. We are given a target of $2, which is less than $1. But energy problem remained in the mind. My feeling was that I should, we should build something which is more sustainable. I had a gut feeling that, we don't even need 5 megawatt, we can probably do it 1 megawatt, but nobody is willing to do that. And then water, 2% is not possible. When I came back here, got my system, just hired a couple of engineers here, decade back, there's a research on sustainable computing. And first step we did was, energy was a complex problem. People say Intel always said I had the best processor in the world, greatest one. I always said, the best processor is here. This processor takes only 20 watts of power. Until you come close to that, you have not achieved anything sustainable. So we started research here with a lot of engineers in Mysore. First step was we said, look at the computing infrastructure, computer CPU. But it was easy to do because we don't need too much money. Buy a few computers and put some logic. How do you reduce the energy consumption? When we studied in Aadhaar, we found that all the computing infrastructure wasted 50% of power. How do you do? So built our own AI algorithm. I think long before ChatGPT came, we built our own algorithm. The world's first agentic AI built. We ran in the campus here. We achieved 42% energy saving. Thanks to Professor Dhananjay Arnold, who actually gave us all the machines in the campus. We tried it out. We experimented here, and then we got 40%, 2% savings. Then now we said, let's make a product. Build a product, save energy in computing, and journey continued, right? Continued from there on. Then over time, a lot of people came to us, okay, computing you have done, I want for everything, for the building, data center and all. How do you build everything, right? So then we said we have to build our own data center and demonstrate that, right? So during COVID, we built our own data center in Mysore. Built using solar energy, I'm not a civil engineer, but I go back to civil. Because data center is a complex beast. Civil, electrical, mechanical, IT, everything in the world, every skill you need. So we look at construction materials. How do you build sustainable materials? So we actually got somebody to make special bricks. So we reduce the cement by 70%. Bricks keep the building cool, naturally cool. So the building is cool by 60 degrees centigrade. Just naturally because the material we reduce the cement. We eliminate false ceilings. Reduce the feet per building by 1 feet. Then redesign everything. Transformer, everything in the data center we found was not good. We redesigned transformer. Thanks to Professor Nagaraj who came and helped me. We redesigned transformer, redesigned bus bar, redesigned electrical panels, redesigned electrical meters. Everything we redesigned from scratch. Today we built the first AI data center in the world. Please look at Mysore.ai, it's our own ChatGPT. This ChatGPT runs with only 2 kV of power. 0 water. And I advise many of you come and see, we run a very large data center, 100 plus servers, consuming only 18 kilowatt of power. Only 1/5 of what people do. 0 water usage. I just had a customer just now when they came back. I just looked at the date. We have been running for 4 years, 10 months, zero downtime. And again, we use AI to run everything. Long before AI came, we use AI. So what do we demonstrate to the world that, while people talk of gigawatt data centers, which is costing millions of dollars and energy, we are a water-starved country. We need water for irrigation, food. And what struck me was I looked at the world's biggest data center is there in Virginia, Northern Virginia, right? I got some scientists there in US. I had some friends there. We did a study for last 10 years satellite data. It was very shocking to me. The average winter temperature went by 4 degrees up because we have 500 temperatures there. Average summer temperature already gone by 3 degrees. You could clearly correlate 10 years of high data, temperature satellite data. And Virginia is planning to do triple the data center capacity in the next 5 years. I don't know what's going to happen. Our focus has been that, as we do, go towards AI. I think if we don't look at sustainable infrastructure, there'll be a lot of machines AI. There'll be no human beings, right? AI for us. Okay. So that's what is our contribution towards is to create sustainable infrastructure. It doesn't need you don't need gigawatts, you don't need megawatts. It's possible to create sustainable, energy efficient infrastructure, and that's what we are demonstrating to the world today. We're now looking at taking it globally to say, create sustainable infrastructure, because we have only one planet. We have limited water, limited land. Everything is limited. We don't have infinite resources. Our thinking is infinite, but resources are unfortunately finite. Yes. That's all my few cents worth. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's very eye-opening. Coming to Dr. Nandish, so just give your perspective on how AI and IoT, advanced semiconductor, how they are affecting the healthcare industry and research.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your question. And before getting into the topic, I'll just clarify I'm not into the semiconductors. So, into healthcare, but not into the semiconductors, what I can speak about. So, when we talk about AI, right, AI in healthcare, there's a lot of other things comes into the aspect. Because when you build an AI for any other domain, these challenges may not be there, as per my experience. Because mainly what we look into is the data privacy here. So when we get into the AI in medical or AI in healthcare, the first thing, just again, in healthcare, what we are looking into, is it a patient-centric or diagnosis or precision medicine, or are we optimizing the hospital workflow or the production side or medical devices design in those aspects? When I speak about the patient-centric, right, where we most of the academic research which is into, and also industry also, in the diagnosis, in characterization of the diseases, and developing the treatment plans, and also recommendation systems. So in all these things, when we consider the patient data, so there is always a concern and a lot of approvals which need to be taken from the hospital. Yeah, in most of the cases in academic research or the student research, we go mainly we depend into the data which is publicly available. There are many Mendeley data set, Kaggle or Scopus, and there are many papers which talk only about the publicly available data set, where most of the people rely on those data as an explanation or some sort of getting handhold on what kind of data is required for the research. But as a product or as a solution, when you plan for the AI, bringing AI into the healthcare, that's where even you need to look from the aspect of regulatories and the hospitals who are providing the data for you. It's not just a doctor. You have a doctor friend. You ask a friend of who is a doctor, and he will give you a data and you will use it. It's not actually the thing is, because you need to have whatever the data you have used. There should be a consent from the patient if it is a perspective data. Two types of data, retrospective and perspective data. Retrospective is already the available and historical data which is already placed in the hospital. So for that, we need to go with proper ethical clearance and all the innovations required for that. Or if you are making some people or a patient to undergo for the scan for the purpose of your research, then patient consent, patient side consent, and the hospital. So all those lot of compliance issues comes when we talk about the data in the hospital. So those are the main thing where we need to look into before getting into making our hands dirty and into the getting the data for the AI. And other aspect is we have the data now, and also from the industry perspective, right? We can go sometimes with my experience. Maybe the hospital may you may get the ethical clearance, you may get the approval from the hospital, you may get all the required approvals, but when you start collecting the data, you may not get the patient with the disease what you are looking into. The same experience happened with us. We didn't know I was just talking to Shashidhar sir also. We didn't know the prevalence of the particular diseases in Karnataka or in South India. So we wanted to look into the patient data for the patient with stomach cancer. So our aim was to have at least 2,000 data for a year. But when we started exploring the hospitals, multi-specialty centers, endoscopy centers, everywhere, it's hardly in every hospital, it's hardly to get 2 to 3 data of that particular data. So then we realized to see which of those geographical locations in India where we get the data for stomach cancer. Then we identified few states where the stomach cancer prevalence is more. Then we moved to the northeast part of India, that is the Manipur, Nagaland, there. So then again, that's what you first look into the strategy when you start to make strategizing your AI-based projects for the healthcare. The research projects exploring with the public data set is fine, but when you go into as a product or a solution, there is also ICMR guidelines. So someone who develops their AI solution in US or Europe or Italy, they can directly come and put it in India. So there is a guidelines that whatever the AI solution are there, this many percentage of that particular regional data should be used for the training. So you can't train for India and put it in Bangladesh or in Italy or anywhere else, any other corner in the India. You should use the data of that geographical location to train, because anatomy wise also it's the way the European looks like and the way the ASEANs and other different various countries you look like. So those many aspects comes in when you try to make a product make a product as a global product. So those are the things when AI you talk about in healthcare. And with the technology advancement also, we can optimize these struggles getting the data from the hospital, because always the issue is sending the data outside the hospital for any other industries. So for example, if for my company, I need to make use of data from hospital A, B and C, I can get all the data. So we can use the federated learning opportunity, the advancement, technology advancement. We don't want to bring the data outside the hospital, but we can put those platforms inside the hospital. We train. Again, sir was saying that inside the car, we don't want to build the model. Similarly, the product don't want to build the model. We will build the model and then inferencing will happen. So we will build our model inside the hospital and then take out the models outside the hospital and then put it into your product. So that is how the federated learning and other aspects put into. So talking about the data, yeah, there is a lot of challenges when we start getting the data for our AI development, AI related any products or solutions what we look into. So, and coming to the IoT, right? Again, there is a kind of the intercaste marriage, what I can say. I don't know, don't take me in the wrong way. So that is what the interdomain, what I can say. So IoT is something, the AI, so we need to marry these things. So remote monitoring systems, what we are doing, and always now many of the industries, right? There is a telemedicine and teleradiology kind of things where you can bring, or not bringing in, but how the rural places can get benefit of these kind of technologies, AI. So doctors sitting in different place, how they can continuously monitor the patient. And sometimes when we talk about the imaging based, right, it's not always, earlier there was a lot of research has happened on radiological data, but now what we see is radiological data is, when we look into the diagnosis, right, there are two types. One is the offline, once the scanning is done and later the doctors will do the reporting. But in few procedures, it is a real-time reporting. So for example, the ultrasound. So CT, X-ray or MRI may not be, the doctors will do those things. So that will be performed by the technicians and later doctors look into the images and then they provide the reports. But in case of ultrasound or endoscopy or oral scan or the ophthalmology. So all these doctors will do, and those are the real time. They look at the scan and immediately they have to report it. So if you want to build up AI in such cases, so AI for CT MRI is completely a one scenario, but another scenario is for the real time analysis, for real time reporting. For ultrasound, we need to build an AI. For colonoscopy or upper GI endoscopy, we need to build an AI, and it has to be a real time. So when we speak about real time, obviously it is a videos. So videos are streaming in, and within a fraction of a second, your AI should detect what are the abnormalities are there or what it is meant for. So in that cases, obviously we need to look into the infrastructure which is required. So edge computing, cloud computing. So there are a lot of other aspects are there. That's what when we speak about why I'm bringing this point is to when you asked about the IoT, right, Internet of Things. So the data transmission, it should happen in a second in such cases, and remote monitoring also. Some patient is on the bedside and doctor is visiting or doctor is in cabin. So remote diagnosis or remotely, if there is any change or outside the threshold, if the data reaches, the immediate alarm should pass to the doctor. So there should not be any delay in such cases. That is why the healthcare, which is very critical with respect to the data. So that's what I wanted to speak about. One is the data collection, data acquisition. That is the main strategy we want to plan for. Where do we get the data, and what data we need to get, and what are the required approvals of that particular state, or there are different types of hospitals you see, corporate hospitals, teaching hospitals, private clinics. So all of them have their own way of keeping the data or sharing the data policies and all. So many other aspects are there. That is where I see a lot of challenges in data acquisition than the model building.
Especially when if you have to build a product for the rural PHI, those things, and you want devices with edge computing, the cost and all those issues will come.
Yes. So that's what I said. That offline reporting always we can build, and offline the images you will have and doctors will look and they can do the AI analysis. But in many cases, when it comes to the IoT, where it is a real time, a few procedures where the reporting should happen at the time of scanning. So in those cases, always these infra is required.
And coming to Dr. Tejaswini, so most of us are here technologists, and we kind of always think, policies are hurdles, policies, regulatory frameworks, they're all there to stop us. We want to build a heaven on the earth, but somehow the policy makers are stopping us. So you can just tell us what are the existing policies that are affecting the common person as well as the industry.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So I want to pick up the conversation from the point where sir was mentioning about intercaste marriages. So, which is a very, very, very apt thing. Maybe it was not the correct word to use, but we don't anymore live in a world where, any stream of technology or concepts or aspects are running vertically one next to the other in parallel mode, but more it's everything circular. In a way, everything is more interconnected than we think. Srinivas sir was mentioning about sustainability in terms of cloud computing or storage and things, and that is again a very big aspect. And sir was asking me how are the policies catching up. Unfortunately, we as a country are still focusing on policies with respect to scope 1 emissions. That is more to do with the emissions, the kind that we see in everyday life. It could be from the vehicles or like power generation or agriculture and those things. And the panel today, what we're discussing is again something of a very high benchmark of a thing for the policy to really have a very clear picture upon. This could be both a bad thing as well as a good thing, because we always, at least in this era, have private or innovation driving policies, unlike a couple of decades ago where policies were directing the innovations or how the overall the development of the country have to be focused in a way. But I think now we should all definitely agree that we live in an era where innovation is driving everything else, especially now that we are from Bangalore and Mysore, that is like, more apt. I think on a very side note, there was this recent news that people want to move away from Bangalore, but again, that itself is such a big debate because it's both a bad thing and a good thing as well, right? Anyway, that was on a separate note. So coming back to the relevance of policy, I want to touch a little upon the green energy aspects, right? Green energy, of course, is deemed as the future focus, or how we have to go about instead of relying on all the fossil fuel or the non-renewable energy sources that we have today, which again we are very heavily dependent on. So again, I think we are heading towards a situation where it will almost be inevitable that you completely get out of the non-renewable source of energy dependence. But again, your renewable sources will play a very big share. Again, that may not be sustainable anymore in terms of maybe mining of trace elements. We all very well know, we could sit here and talk about green energy or how this is non-fossil and how this is developmental. But I'm sure somewhere somebody is paying a very big price in terms of at least mining and things. So nothing is green anymore, like if you take in a real holistic concept. But rather than focusing on what is green, what is non-green, I think we should more orient about having a circular approach where you don't let any of the resources to go waste. And this is something that the innovation plays a very big role in, right from the stage of inception, which I feel all the topics that we are discussing today are. So I think the sustainability or the circularity of this has to be planned well ahead, even before the policy dictates. Because again, policies are made by the government counterparts, and it's not coming from and especially in terms of all the new technologies we have. Even the governments don't have a reference to build any of the policies. If I am asked to build a 50-page policy for probably setting up semiconductor production in Mysore, for instance, frankly, I don't know. Being a government counterpart, or though I'm not though I don't directly work for the government, I work for a think tank which supports government in terms of policy interpretations and policy preparations. Nobody would know where to start because the field in itself is so wide and it is so interconnected. Like just the semiconductor production for itself, in itself will be connected to the resource availability, the management, the processes, the sustainability of it, pollution, and then permits, and then waste management, which again itself is a very, very big concern and something that has to be incorporated right in the planning stage, especially because we don't want to go back to it towards the end. And also, sir was mentioning about the climate of Virginia, right? That already going up by so many degrees. And this, I think, is a very, very apt discussion. Maybe not for today for the general public, but for people who are involved in policy making, or who are going to think ahead of the future and see what it's going to be. I think this is already happening to certain degrees to every other cities, maybe not in terms of hosting a data center, which requires a heavy cooling effect. I think this is a bigger scale of an example of the heat island effect that we already see for in major cities like this. So again, this will require that so many aspects being taken care, could be green building or sustainable cooling solutions, or it could be proper urban planning. Like everything is interconnected, and I think for all of this to go hand in hand in a very seamless manner, technology and IoT and AI are the best app solution. Of course, in terms of the energy requirement for computing and everything, it is still a very big culprit, but it is still smaller of the evil compared to the other things where the focus is on for at least the public aspect of it. Also, I'd say the government is doing pretty good in terms of green energy or sustainability. We have several policies coming up. Something as simple as this Muft Bijli Yojana. Not trying to endorse anything, but again, it's a very big scheme wherein general public can have some up to 300 units of free energy. Again, in the long term, you don't know how we're going to end up with this. It could be like all of the solar panel I install, say 40 square feet in my house, and I don't know, 20 years down the lane, I don't know what to do with the panels. Maybe its life is ending. But again, we don't know that, and not knowing that doesn't mean we should not be implying that today, right? I mean, today, of course, the focus is there, but I think this the technology or the innovation bit, or the people working in the innovation side, this should be a very pressing concern, and somewhere somebody should start thinking along these lines, or how to circle this back to the production, or like how to not let efforts go waste. Maybe some amount will go. Again, academics and the young minds play a brilliant role in such a scenario, because I myself, I think I'm already old for all the new technologies that are coming up. You can never catch up with what is going to come up in the next wave, right? So young minds, or students who are still studying, they are more aware of what is going to come when they are going to be responsible for things around them. So I think academics and the university-based research or innovation labs, or you call these as powerhouses, right? Those play a very big role, and you can always approach bigger companies for funds, and invest hugely on research, and could be patenting, or it could be overall exploring. And it's not just about bringing up new technologies anymore, but I think rather on focus also should be on how these processes are going to be sustaining in the long term, given that you have 12 different inputs for each and every innovation in terms of any field that you're going to plan ahead. So those are some ideas. Thanks.
So, I guess the gist of Dr. Tejas is for policy making, it's very essential that there's a participation from every stakeholder, like be it industry or the end user or government, bureaucracy, etc. Thank you.
Thank you.
So coming to Dr. Ravichandra, thank you for joining. So you've been chair of biodiplomacy section since last 2 years, and you have nearly a decade of experience in education field, and the kind of changes that we are going through. So what do you think? And of course, we all know the challenges daily we are experiencing. So you have any ideas on how to address these challenges?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, all, and also all the dignitaries, panelists, and dignitaries over in the hall. Right? Thank you, sir. Very tricky and also very important question, I believe. Like how, I want to pick up from where Dr. Tejaswini stopped, like academia having more of research centers of excellence, what powerhouse, what she was mentioning. If by academia, I don't mean only the faculty. So students nowadays are very integral part of it. As ma'am was saying that she's already old. I do feel that I'm old, but that is compensated, or that should be compensated by the students becoming an integral part of these research centers, which is still lacking in India, what I believe, as compared to Western countries, where students and faculty work as team. So here still the approach is that we are playing on opposite sides of the game, rather than on one side of the game. Like I give you assignment, you have to submit within a specified deadline, or you have to score. So little bit, I mean, it's changing quite fastly, but what I feel is it has to disrupt. A disruption is needed there as well, wherein all people work from one side of the game and work against the evil on the society or on the climate. So climate, considering saving climate as one agenda. So faculty and students put together should be on one side of it and tackle the situation. And I believe India, with so much of diverse intelligence and extensive intelligence with rich culture, can contribute a lot more as sir was mentioning about, he actually, I know one more aspect of it. He worked on routers and switches in IIT Bombay and did not patent on it. And that's the reason so many switches companies are there yet. So he did mention in one of his talks. So that is something which we can give to the world. I mean, that's one of the examples. We can give so much to the world, and if we work on those lines, probably all what the panelists have pointed to, like application of AI, policy making, saving, green energy, sustainability. I am also very much intrigued and happy with the panel here and the topics being discussed. Multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary is what we keep on telling, but it is actually reflected here. Finally, it has to converge, and solution has to be developed, or framework has to be developed. So, which is happening is what I believe eventually, inevitably as well. So that's where I think.
What would be the role of professional bodies?
Yes, I was just coming to that. Now, industry and academia, as I spoke about academia, industry is definitely ahead of academia, which is very much known. And in order to bridge that, professional bodies like IEEE, TIE, and many more such organizations, even standards bodies, should converge together or work as a liaison between industry and academia, which they are doing, but it has to happen extensively. And by working together, definitely we can develop more. As passive email can do, like 10 such passive emails will become one active email. Like we keep on getting, once we become a volunteer, say IEEE, I have experienced it. IEEE emails, when I became member, even in New Zealand, I got, we do keep getting, we sometimes feel it as spam. But 10th email, when we sort of open and see, okay, let me go and check. So one such email changed my complete perception into research, and helped me a lot by attending that talk by a company called as Power by Proxy, who were two master students who spun off that company out of their project, and they were eventually acquired by Apple for their wireless energy transfer solution. And the irony was that I also had worked on wireless energy transfer in 2007 when I was in JC. They also started at the same time, but eventually that converted into a company and was acquired by Apple. But I got to know about this only through this professional body. So what I'm trying to say is we will get connected better, network better, and eventually solutions, inspiration, perspectives, and products, and finally a good contribution to society is possible by these professional bodies. I would recommend everyone to be part of one of the other professional bodies. That would be my submission.
Chandra talked about standards. So you have a standards expert. So can you just elaborate a bit on in the era of AI, how are we handling standards?
Many a times we follow standards here. From India, we generally follow international standards here, and then we don't contribute much here so far, right? But then a small effort is being done today. In fact, a lot of IITs are actively working on communication technologies today to contribute to standards. Right? So that is something which is very good to happen. My own experience is that I'm part of IEEE standards for some time now, for about 15 years now. In the two groups, right, I have been reasonably active. One is to create standards for safety systems using AI, right? How should they do it? For example, if you are building a robo system along with AI, what are the checks and balances you should have, right? That kind of a standard, which is called 7009.1, right? IEEE standard 7009.1. So that got released recently. So it was a wonderful experience, contributing to the global rate community. The interesting thing is that IEEE has taken up a new standard thing called ICETEG, which is for designing products for the aged. Right, as the population increases, there is a new standard coming up for aged people. Right, so I don't think I am aged, right? But then it's good to be part of that as well, and to kind of talk about requirements and then how to implement it. So those are the two things.
So, Srinivas, if we have to build our own data centers and computing centers for AI, so what should be the way to go?
I think we need to follow indigenous standards. So already we started some research work with IIT Bombay, Nagpur and Goa. We started a research program right now, collaboration. That see, many of things are aspects of the, see, many of the standards were designed. I'll tell you a couple of things. We are blindly following standards. Just to give a simple example, all of you understand car, right? Car, buildings have glasses, right? Many designs were made in Western world because they want to absorb heat. It's a cold country. We are a warm tropical climate. Many things like data center designs were designed in the Western world for a different purpose. But look at a country, it's a tropical country, throughout the year hot, it's not a cold country. And look at the resource availability. I think we need to follow our indigenous material, right? That's what I'm saying. So there's already actually work happening. I spent the time with MIT with a couple of groups. We are going to create indigenous standards because standards we look at every environment, right? So look at one of the studies we are doing jointly with IIT Bombay, Goa, and Nagpur. Look at the climate, weather patterns of every part of the country, and come up with standards and technology suitable to that climate. Example, so that's where one of the things, create standards as local, specific to everybody, can adapt locally or contribute back, right? And what works in India works for a lot of emerging markets. What is the global south, right? Africa is a similar one because Africa has a scarcity of water, right? I just tell you one issue of using water. We know I think most of you work send speed posts, right? Speed posts and letters. Our own CPT, right? About 3-4 years back, the data center ran out of water. 3 years back, we had a very hot summer, right? Very bad summer. There was no water. They got tanker water. There was no water. Just like home, we got tanker water. 1 month now, the data center went down. We were asked to investigate and study. We studied that water had a slightly higher salt content. I just was, so that opened my eyes at the time when we built data center. When you may have a water shortage, what will you do? Unfortunately, we have a large amount of data center in the world today. One bad summer, the data is vanished. Unfortunately, nobody thinking about it, right? Because sustainable infrastructure, small one, sustainable one, use renewable energy, it's possible, right? You can do renewable energy. We are blessed with a country with blessed with a lot of and weather is pretty good. Can use natural cooling. We built a small prototype right now. Look at a city like Mysore, right? 6 months of the year, the temperature, night temperature is less than 20 degrees. Can you use natural air for cooling? Use sustainable materials, local level materials. I think there are many things we can do to start thinking about it. And we started recently working with academia. We started an immersion program. I think it's level 11 institutions in Mysore. Looking at how do you create sustainable technology. Why can't we start here, right? We just made a beginning. We hope to more and more participation from students and academia. Because there's not one problem. There's a series of problems to solve. I mean, if somebody wants to have hundreds of problems to solve, we need to solve that, right? Even in the semiconductor world, anything you take, I think you have to keep innovating, right? I said always my ultimate aim is your computing power. 10 flat how do you achieve 10 petaflops of computing power? 20 watts of power, right? Way away. I mean, that's the aim, right? As the computing becomes infinite, can you reduce the... We are talking about AGI, right? AGI is the way to go. I think today we don't have enough resources in the world to do AGI. A long way to go, right? And I think there's enough work to be done jointly, industry and academia, and a lot of young, brilliant minds out here, right?
Dr. Tejaswini, what are the kind of policy initiatives required to encourage the more usage of renewable, whether in mobility or daily usage or industry?
Thanks for that question. Of course, policies are always evolving with I think, for example, we could take the EV policy that was there at the central level, and now every state is trying to have their own EV policy. Karnataka, we have their own vehicle scrappage policy and so on. So the policies keep evolving as and how the need of the day, transitions. I want to focus a little more on not the policy in terms of what you document in the PDF, but rather implementation. So if you ask me in a very theoretical manner, the policy has all the support we need. But what we really lag behind is with the implementation of it. So I want to having what new policies for the emerging green energy is a very far end of the measuring scale. But even if you think about something more rudimentary, as for instance, solid waste management policy of India, right? As a policy, it is brilliant. You follow it 100%, and in Indian cities or rural areas should be like spotless. But that is not how it is panning out to be. It has its own inherent challenges, and like several of the measures or techniques that are prescribed might already be like not useful anymore. For example, I don't think our policies focus on emerging contaminants. The policies don't focus on like newer material. For instance, it could be any of these trace element, recycling or collection, all of that. Though in a very broad area, those are covered, right? But like the coverage itself is quite broad, but implementation is again like 100-fold less compared to that, right? So we should be thinking more about implementing to a bigger extent of whatever policies have been made already. Of course, the new ones are always evolving, and also for the new policy makers, several of the attendees could very well be in such positions in the future. Policies also be more need to be more comprehensive. I mean, of course, that is already changing. Earlier policies used to be a vertical top to down kind of an approach where you didn't have how to integrate the circularity or the sustainability to it. But I think the policies that are evolving in the recent past for couple of years, right? They are already taking care of those elements of circularity. But I think that is something again that should be taken very, very seriously in terms of sustainability or in terms of attaining the goals, or it could be like circular economy, or like how to close the loop should be the thought for the future.
Thank you. Okay. So, any final remarks from panel members?
I had a question for you on the product circularity. This is about an experience about 2 hours back. My Sony TV, because of the rains day before yesterday, stopped working. Right? So I take it to the Sony service center. He opens it and then he says, "Sir, our board is gone." So I said, "Fine, you can't repair it because it's about 15 years. You can't repair it." Then I asked him, saying that, "You see, sir, as a manufacturer, you're supposed to take it back, right? All the bad ones, you're supposed to take it back. I've come to Sony service center. Why don't you take it back? I will go home empty-handed. That's all." He said, "No, you can't give it to me.
Right. Again,
You can't give it to me. You have to go to service sales center. They may take it, right? Because they will probably take it if you buy another Sony TV, right? So when it comes to implementation, right, we've had such issues. I thought I'll share this with you. Brand hot.
Definitely, sir. And this is something very apt in terms of this end user responsibilities. I don't think any of the companies are taking that. Again, we are still going in that system where people are just pushed to use new products, but the companies need to focus on how to take it back, and it could be something as simple as the glass bottle collection, or like one of the CEO of my company, he made a very big LinkedIn post about this also, and he's talking about the same thing happened for his brand new EV car. I mean, TV is still something like, okay, fine, a 15-year-old, it's okay, leave, somehow you can still give some excuses. But he was talking to us about his new EV car in Delhi that got submerged, and then they're not able to repair it, and it is stuck in the loop for like past 3.5 months, despite paying some whatever big amount. EV cars don't come for a cheap price, right? Despite that, and this being a very big EV promoting company in India, that is the case. So you can see how other and these are big products what we're talking about. Something as simple as everyday usage and things, those have to be optimized as well. So I think optimization and sustainability is the way to go forward, and we shouldn't be thinking about whether we should definitely be thinking about renewable, non-renewable also. But I think we are having a very big lag in terms of not having things circular.
Just want to add one thing. I think one of the things I see in the world today, we do, I call it half invention. Because we only solve product problem, leave somebody to solve. Okay, look at today. Asbestos was thought as a great alternative to the sheets metal. What a problem we created. I think all of you young guys, we need to start thinking of a life cycle of everything. Because nature creates everything, goes back, right? Panchabhuta we talked about, everything goes back to nature, including us, right? Good an amazing creature, we go back, we are part of nature. Why can't we create things, physical material, which go back to nature? That's unfortunately not done today because we were trying to want to commercialize too early. Look at life cycle, everything. What's the impact? I think look at electronic e-waste. I don't know how much we are generate today. Right? All the, we like smartphones. Apple solved part of the problem, rest into them. Right? Today, e-waste only 2% recycled. 98% goes to garbage, right? Finally, it affects our water, air, everything else. I think somewhere in the policy, I would urge people have to do life cycles. Don't any products. The life cycle is not. If you make a product, if you can't take it back, please don't make one. Thank you.
You should use it as a tagline for some things.
Yeah.
If you can't
If you can't take it, you can't make it.
make it.
Any questions from the audience for the panel members or comments?
No, I'm volunteer.
Thank you, panelists, for enlightening us on various topics. I'm sure that me and ICETEG will join to add one point. ICETEG is a EV vehicle. We sold that vehicle in disgust because we don't want to keep it. At that time, nobody was there to service, as man was pointing that. So, sir will add a little later. Okay, fine. At the same time, I had few problems with the screen and all. In my back at home, I have a lot of batteries. I don't know where to throw. Whenever I try to throw, I feel. But I have that. Right. So coming back to the point. So I don't know how to throw it. So similarly, as well, you can't make it, you can't throw it in the air. That was so. So with respect to electronics, I have 3-4 mobile phones also. I don't know how to do it. So whenever I try to exchange my mobile, I always feel like the end madlappa. Even if I can't give to anybody also because it's totally okay. Okay. So like that we have plenty of problems, but your tagline is very, very active. So like we can't take it back, can't manufacture. That's the right one. India should initiate this. Okay. So anyway, this conference has made us to open our eyes to this thing. But still, the panel, I want the panel to make a strong statement that the screen, make it a little bit green by enforcing us on ourselves so that we can start it. That's what my contention. Okay? Because with respect to batteries, we have the problems that can't keep it, can't throw it. I don't know how others are throwing. I really don't know.
Can I ask you that? Sir, actually, the Karnataka Pollution Control Board has a policy for EV battery, etc. disposal, and every city is supposed to have these collection centers. And universities also can apply for. Again, I want to go back to my point about how there's a lag between policies and implementations, but at least that is definitely there. As a university, also it could host one of those battery collection centers, and that itself could be something to take forward and take pride in on the long run, because I think in Bangalore at least there are some 15 to 20 notified centers which are the so-called e-waste collection centers. But although maybe it worked well for the first few years where people were getting it there and circulation was happening, or the collection was happening from there and everything, but eventually it all phases or fades away, fades away, right, in a way. And it's the same thing that has happened with the EV collection, or sorry, e-waste collection also. But on the bright side, now there are several companies that, at least in the startup stage, I could look up and let you know some of them, who are working on e-waste recycling. So if you could there'll be nothing like it if you want to host a e-waste collection center in your campus and tie up with one of those companies, and they come and collect, and it will be like a very big brand building for the university, and of course it is a holistic wonderful thing for the community as well.
Any other questions? Okay. We had, I believe that we had an enriching interaction on the various aspects of green energy in the context of new electronics, advanced electronics, and AI. I sincerely thank all the panel members, Shishidhar Dongre, Dr. Nandish, Dr. Ravichandra, Srinivas Varadarajan, and Dr. Tejaswini for sparing their time to give their knowledge and experience for this topic. Thank you very much.
Thanks to all the FC panelists for the insightful and engaging discussion. The ideas shared today have truly illuminated how the fusion of green energy, AI-driven healthcare, and advanced electronics can help build sustainable and independent future. On behalf of everyone present here, I extend heartfelt thanks to our panelists for sharing their time, expertise, and perspectives, and to our audience for your participation and enthusiasm. As a token of appreciation, we would like to hand over mementos to each of our panelists. I request Dr. Veena ma'am to do the honors. Dr. Ravichandra Kulkarni. Dr. Nandish. Shashidhara Dongre. Dr. Tejaswini. Srinivas Varadarajan. Dr. Sudarshan Patnaik. Let's carry forward the spirit of innovation and collaboration we witnessed today, striving always to create technologies that serve both humanity and the environment. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.
A very good evening to Huh? A very good evening to one and all. At the outset, I submit my respectful, humble pranams to the lotus feet of Sri Suttur Guru Parampare and seeking the divine blessings of Swamiji and JSS Mahavidya Pita. Every great achievement begins with an idea, nurtured by collaboration and crowned by the dedication. With an immense joy and pride, I, Rohit Amman, Assistant Professor, Department of ECE, warmly welcome you to the valedictory function of the IEEE International Conference on Emerging Technologies in Electronics and Green Energy, organized by Department of ECE, EEE, and EIE at JSS Science and Technology University, Mysuru. During the past 2 days has truly been a confluence of the innovation, intellect, and the inspiration, bringing together the brilliant minds pioneering the ideas and sustainable visions for the green tomorrow. It gives me an immense pleasure to invite our esteemed dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Harish C. Bashila. Sir, please. I request Dr. UBM, sir, to kindly escort. Shri Shashidhar Dongre, sir. Dr. Mallikarjun Swami, sir. Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, Dr. M.G. Veena, madam. With the permission of dignitaries. The presence of the great minds on one stage signifies the collective brilliance that drives progress. To invoke the blessings of Almighty before we begin this auspicious occasion, I invite Ms. Chavi, IEEE student member, for the invocation.
मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजयत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजयत्रीम् आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजता स्पर्धां त्यजता युद्धं त्यजता स्पर्धां त्यजता त्यजत परेषु अक्रममाक्रमणं त्यजत परेषु अक्रममाक्रमणं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजयत्रीं मैत्रीं भजत अखिलहृजयत्रीम्.
Thank you, Ms. Chavi, for that melodious and the divine start. To extend a warm welcome and to set a tone for the evening, I invite Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, sir, the General Chair, to deliver the welcome address.
Very good afternoon. At the outset, I submit my respectful pranams at the lotus feet of Sri Sutturu Guru Parampara and seek their divine blessings. It's with immense pleasure and pride that I welcome you all to this valedictory ceremony of International Conference on Emerging Technologies in Electronics and Green Energy. First and foremost, let me welcome our chief guest for this event, Dr. Harish Barshilia, Advisor, CSIR, NAL, Management and Administration. We wholeheartedly welcome you, sir. I welcome our guest of honor,
Shashidhar Dongre, IEEE Senior Member, Global Head, Process and Quality, L&T Technology Services. I welcome our Honorable HOD, Dr. U.B. Mahadeswamy, sir. I welcome Head of the Department of Electronics and Instrumentation, Mallikarjun Swamy, sir. I welcome General Chair of the conference and Professor Dr. M.G. Veena for this event. I welcome all the IEEE Chair of Mysore Subsection, Ravichandra, Srinivas Vadarajan sir, Dr. Tejaswini, all the faculty members of the organizing departments as well as faculty members of JSS-STU. All the research scholars who have attended this two-day conference. This conference is a reality because of your presence. I welcome all the students, IEEE volunteers, student volunteers, and non-technical staff. Because of their support, this conference is going on to this valedictory event. I thank one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the warm welcome. On behalf of the committee, we wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, sir. Now we have a pleasure of hearing from Dr. Mallikarjun Swamy, sir, Associate Professor and Head Department of EIE and the Honorary Chair.
Offering my sincere pranams to His Holiness and seeking His blessings for all of us. On this occasion of valedictory, dear dignitaries on the dais and all the faculty members and participants of this conference, today's conference, and all students and volunteers and staff of our SJC and JSS-STU. On this occasion, it was a very good knowledge exchange for all of us. And for the last almost 1 year back, when it was planned to have a IEEE conference, Dr. Patil and Dr. Veena. So when teams were formed and informed us, so we started working on this. And so the papers were submitted, and so our faculty members, and with the help of reviewers from IEEE and also the various colleges, we took as reviewers, and it was a rigorous process of the selecting the papers, and it was given importance to the quality of the paper and its technical content. And therefore, even so I worked on the tracks of the biomedical applications and the sensors and embedded systems and IoT, which was part of my department. And so we rigorously look at whether they are following the IEEE format and what is the technical content, whether it is feasible to even send it for reviews. So all such exercises being done so by our faculty members and also reviewers. So on this occasion, so I would like to thank all the faculty and staff and the reviewers involved in the process. And so during the conference, it's again a process of attending the technical talks and so plenary sessions and listening to guests, etc. And my students So at every corner, they worked as volunteers and faculty members also. So see that all the things being done intact and so done in a meaningful way. And so that in that sense, we made a lot of exercises, and the blessings of His Holiness, we could able to reach this end of the conference. And I think with that words, I thank all of you being part of this conference, and thank you one and all.
Thank you, sir, for your thoughtful address. The past 2 days has witnessed the extraordinary discussions on the path-breaking innovations. To encapsulate the journey of ICETEG 2025, I invite Dr. M.G. Veena Madam to present the conference report.
Good evening, one and all. Seeking the blessings of Mahaswamiji, I thank Rohit Aman for giving me the opportunity to say about the conference report. The International Conference on Emerging Technologies in Electronics and Green Energy, ICETEG 2025, has been approved by JS Science and Technology University and IEEE on 18th February 2025 with a gap of 9 months, which is executed on 10th and 11th October 2025 at JSS STU, SJCE, JSS Technical Institutions Campus, Mysuru. This premier international conference is technically sponsored by IEEE Bangalore section and IEEE Mysore subsection and is jointly organized by the three circuit branch departments: Electronics and Communication Engineering, Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering, and Electrical and Electronics Engineering. The theme of ICETEG 2025 is to promote innovation and advancements in emerging areas of engineering and technology, serving as a common platform that brings together academia, research, and industry. The conference aims to provide an excellent opportunity for faculty members, research scholars, students, and industry professionals to present, demonstrate, and discuss cutting-edge research and developments in the domains of electronics, communication, green energy, computing technology, and biomedical applications. With the starting of the conference, the advisory committee, there are several committee formed. Those are the advisory committee, steering committee, honorary chairs, the general chairs, TPC, that is Technical Program Committee, Finance Committee, Conflict Management Committee, Web Development Committee, which was in accordance with the IEEE, and also later within the three departments, there are other committees which were formed for the execution of the program, and we are all here who are made this event a grand success. So the conference invited high quality research papers describing original and unpublished results based on conceptual, empirical, experimental, or theoretical work in allied areas of electronics and green energy. With the rigorous meetings among IEEE Bangalore and Mysore subsection, the topics covered under major tracks include Track 1, Microelectronics and Nanotechnology, Track 2, Sensors and Robotics, Track 3, Computing Technology, Track 4, Communication and Networking, Track 5, Biomedical Applications, Track 6, IoT and Embedded Systems, Track 7, Intelligent Sensors and Assistive Devices, Track 8, Sustainable Energy and Electric Mobility, Track 9, Power and Energy Systems, and Track 10, Power Electronics, Drives and Control Systems. From these 10 tracks, a total of 860 papers were received. After a rigorous 3-stage review process, 278 papers were accepted, out of which 169 papers were registered. The registered papers include both the international and national submissions, with international papers originating from the USA, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and reputed institutions across India. There were 10 parallel sessions where authors presented their papers on these 2 days. 10 poster presentations were made by the participants, and the best paper and best poster presentation awards and cash prizes will be announced, presented to the deserving participants selected by the internal and external session chairs during the valedictory function. A pre-conference workshop was successfully conducted on 9th October 2025, proudly sponsored by MathWorks, Dr. Puneet SB from CTO, and Anand Mukhopadhyaya from MathWorks delivered the theoretical and hands-on sessions to 150 final and pre-final year students. The ICETEG conference was inaugurated on 10th of October by Dr. B. Suresh, Director, Technical Education Division, JSS Mahavidyapita, Mysuru, with the online presence of Chief Guest Sundararaja Sitaram Iyengar, Distinguished University Professor and Director of the Center of Excellence in Digital Forensics at Florida International University, Florida, USA. The title of the talk was AI for Applications Using Python Language. Guests of honor for the event include Professor Ashish Kumar Nandi, Vice President, Fulfillment Technology and Services, Public Speaker, Radical Incorporation, Atlanta Metropolitan Area, USA. The title of the professor was Greening the Supply Chain Robotics at the Intersection of Automation and Sustainability. Professor Shrikant Chandrasekharan, who was a country head IEEE India, the delivery of keynote by Chandrasekharan sir was Impact of IEEE SA Standards in Emerging Technologies, which was preceded by Professor A.N. Santosh Kumar sir, Vice Chancellor JSS STU, in the presence of Professor S.A. Dhanraj, Registrar JSS STU, Professor C. Nataraju sir, Principal FACA Mysuru. The conference featured plenary talks and panel discussions by eminent speakers from IISc, NAL, and various leading industries. Anand Mukhopadhyaya, Senior Engineer, MathWorks, delivered Introduction to Neuromorphic Computing and Applications, the plenary session 1. Then the Dr. Balamati Chaudhary, Senior Principal Scientist, CSIR NAL, delivered a topic on trends and challenges in indigenization of aerospace antennas. Then plenary session 3 was about the research in the age of large language models, staying relevant and impactful, by Dr. A.P. Pratosh, Assistant Professor, Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru. Today in the morning, future-proofing your career, emerging technology, innovation, and lifelong learning in engineering and technology was delivered by Abhijit Mukherjee, Enterprise Architect at Siemens from USA. The plenary session 5 was on From Concept to Commercialization and Eco-Friendly Nelson NG Solar Absorber Coating Technology by Dr. Harish C. Bashalia, Chief Scientist, CSIR, NAL, Bengaluru. The last session was by Dr. Nandish Sir, Director AI and Data Analytics, Vishuki InnoTech Private Limited. The topic was Virtual Biopsy Imaging and Radiomics. Thought-provoking panel discussion on bridging future technologies, green energy, healthcare with AI and advanced electronics was held as a part of the ICETEG 2025 conference. The distinguished panel featured Mr. Shashidhar Dongre, IEEE Senior Member and Global Head, Process and Quality, LTTS. Shri Srinivas Varadarajan, CEO, Vigyan Labs Private Limited, Dr. Nandish, Director, Vishuki InnoTech Private Limited, Dr. Ravchandra Kulkarni, Professor and Head, CSE IoT and IEEE Chair, Mysore Subsection, and Ms. Tejaswini Erigowda, Senior Manager, Vasudha Foundation, Bengaluru. The session was skillfully moderated by Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni. The discussion explored the integration of advanced technologies and artificial intelligence in driving sustainable innovations across green energy and healthcare domains. The valedictory ceremony is scheduled for 11th October 2025, graced by Dr. Harish C. Bashalia, Chief Scientist, CSIR NAL, as the chief guest, and Shri Shashidhar Dongre, IEEE Senior Member and Global Head Process and Quality, LTTS, as the guest of honor. The event will be presided over in the presence of the honorary chairs from the departments of ECE, EEE, and E&I. During the ceremony, the Best Paper and Best Poster Awards will be conferred to recognizing outstanding contributions. We express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed sponsor for their generous support, MathWorks, International Education Specialist, InnoTech Integration Services Private Limited, Tanti Automatics, Core 4 Engineers Limited, BNG Solar, and the Institute for Climate and Environment, Chennai. Finally, we have come to the end, and this is all to the participants. All the conference proceedings meeting IEEE quality standards will be eligible for publication in the IEEE Explore Digital Library, which is being announced in the brochure also. IEEE reserves the right to withhold publication for papers not conforming to its review and formatting criteria. And thank you for the organizers who have given me the opportunity to read out these two days conference report. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for beautifully summarizing this incredible journey. We are greatly honored by the presence of our chief guest, Dr. Harish C., advisor, M&A and CSIR NAL Bangalore. Sir, we request you to share your words of wisdom with us.
Good afternoon to all of you. Distinguished delegates, students, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to be present here and to express my thoughts. I also congratulate the JSS University management as well as the faculty members for organizing this two-day international conference on emerging technologies in electronics and green energy. As summarized by Professor Veena, this two-day conference invited a lot of experts all over the world, from all over the world, and they spoke about the use of AI, ML, the electronics and the green technologies in the context of making India a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Basically, my expertise is in the area of renewable energy, that too in the solar energy. So in that context, as I mentioned in the morning in my lecture when we talk, that the sustainability is one of the very, very important goal of the United Nations declaration. As one of the panel members rightly pointed out, we have very limited resources, and we should be mindful of using these resources to the extent that our future generation, they also get benefited out of these resources. So the concept of sustainability and circularity comes into picture. In fact, Indians are known for circularity very much. In all our day-to-day lives, we use, like you take banyan cloth, first we use this as a banyan, then subsequently you used as a pocha, and then subsequently used for something else. So same is the case. It's of course nowadays we are talking about one of the, I think, panel members spoke about how to dispose these electronic items. You won't believe that to make one iPhone or any smartphone, the kind of materials and devices we use inside a phone. You need gold, you need platinum, you need, name it, silicon or silver or aluminum, you need stainless steel or aluminum, and we just throw it. Imagine that in India has a population of about 140 crore, 1.4 billion population, and we have on an average maybe 65% people, they have the access to the mobile phones nowadays. So if we keep on changing, on an average, we change phone in once in 2 years, if not every year. Some of they will have some 3 to 4 phones. That's a different issue. So if you keep on discarding these kind of phones, and then someone spoke about the TV or the EV and all these things. If you keep on discarding these indiscriminately, I think our resources are very limited. That is the reason that you can just see that the gold prices, for example, they have risen to, when I was young, maybe at the age of say 30, it was about 33,000 per 10 grams. Nowadays, I think it has gone maybe I think I don't know what is the price. I think 1 lakh or 1.2 lakhs. This is the kind of thing we are seeing, that exponential growth. So to make India a Viksit Bharat by 2047, which is our Honorable Prime Minister has said that the India should become an advanced country, we need to do lot of innovation, and we have to innovate the technologies which will be at par with the state of the art. In one of the TED talk which was given by one of the experts from India, it was told that why the companies like Google and Facebook and Apple, why they are not conceptualized in Bangalore or Mysore or Bombay. There is something we have to do, some introspection. I think very, very important. We have the talent. The same talent goes to the Silicon Valley, and we do wonders. But when we are in the country, we have a lot of limitations. Of course, if you see about 70 years back, when we are ruled by the Britishers, lots of changes have happened. But to achieve the status of Viksit Bharat, a lot of work has to be done. For that, we have to develop the technologies. We have to improve on our innovations, and I see a lot of all of you can see a lot of changes, and the government is giving a lot of incentives, and there are a lot of missions out there. For example, recently the quantum mission has been announced by the government, the semiconductor mission, solar mission. There are, I think, 40 or 50 missions are there, national missions, wherein the government is giving a lot of incentives to minimize the red tapeism and to maximize the efficiency of our whatever work we do. So for that, AI, ML, and digital twin technology, which was not addressed, I believe, in this conference, I think it is very, very important that digital twin technology is one of the most important technology, if not for the general engineering, but for the aerospace engineering and the automobile engineering. It's very, very important. You can just conceptualize your design or sensor or whatever the device you are going to devise in the laboratory, and subsequently you can do the product development. Of course, there are a lot of challenges. One of the panel members spoke about the regulatory compliances, which are very, very difficult to comprehend, because we still follow the international in this part of the continent, in this part of the world. So we have to develop the technologies which are relevant for our own needs. It is very sad that our youngsters, they copy the Americans. I think if we combine our spiritual wisdom, which we have in India, along with these innovations, I think we'll become Viksit Bharat, not by 2047, but much earlier to that one. So with these few words, I congratulate the organizers and also the award winners, which will be announced very soon. And I sincerely thank the organizers for giving me an opportunity to express my views on this conference. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring and insightful address. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied, and the wisdom shared is the spark that ignites the generation. We are privileged to have with us Sri Shashidhar Dongre, sir, IEEE Senior Member and the Global Head Process and Quality, L&T Technology Services, as our guest of honor. Sir, we now invite you to address the gathering.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Again, thank you so much for inviting me over. Can I have a raise of hands whoever has contributed by writing papers to this conference? Can everybody give a round of applause for these people, please? It's not very easy, right, to kind of force yourself to write something. Long time back, I went to a customer's place abroad somewhere, and then in the coffee shop, I saw a small teacup on which this was written. It was written that knowledge is what others think you have. Right? You can have any amount of knowledge, but unless you write it down, unless you articulate it, there is no way others will know that you have the knowledge, right? One way you can actually communicate that you have knowledge is by participating in these conferences and writing about it and also reading about it. And I'm sure you not only write but also read about what others have done, right? So congratulations, everybody here. I come from a corporate thing, and then typically one of the general assumptions is that you study technical in the academic thing, and then as soon as you enter corporate, you forget about it, right? So that's the normal mantra seems to be, right? But then I can tell you saying that not all corporates, most of the corporates don't do that, even though it's a popular kind of a feeling. Most of the corporates don't do that, right? In fact, many corporates have got, while we count our dollars, count our rupees, be bothered about top line, bottom line, etc., etc. We do that, right? That's we need it for our living. But the means to that living always invariably happens via technical knowledge, right? Talking about many companies, I'm not only talking about my company, but many companies I know of, right, have got ladders, ladders defined for technical people, right? Somebody who will end up with a CTO organization, but you have technical architects, technical leaders, right, in the charter developed, and they get pride of place within the company, both for salary as well as for the positions they take. Salary and position, mind you. It's not only about position, it's also about salary as well, right? So they have pride of place, and then you need to look at it, right? In fact, in many of the companies, the way they rate people from a technical thing is that how many papers they have contributed, how many conferences they've gone and spoken about, etc., right? So while the money, right, is the common denominator by which every other company gets measured with, but your differentiation invariably does not come with money, right? In differentiation, you as a company invariably comes from the kind of technology you go with, right? For example, Ather as an EV manufacturer, right, will say that, I will demonstrate you how my battery will not catch fire, right? Of course, when Ather says this, he is actually referring to some other company which catches fire. You understand what I mean, right? And they demonstrate publicly saying that how their batteries are tested technically very well, right? So always the differentiation is technical when it comes to corporates doing it, right? So hence, I would only urge, right, all of you youngsters here, to keep a certain amount of your time every week, right, to kind of upgrade yourself with respect to technology in which you are part of, right? If you also do it for other technologies, it's fine, but at least you are part of it. You must make time for yourself. It's very easy to say whichever branch you go in, whichever direction you take in, saying that I don't have time, right? It's very easy to say time, but if you can put your calendar and then say this half an hour is for me, and this I will do it for reading about the technology in my chosen subject, I think it will go a long way. One last thing I will leave this thought with, right? Satya Nadella was in news yesterday, right? I don't know how many of you are capturing this, right? Satya Nadella is the CEO of Microsoft. We all know that, right? But I think time has come where we have to refer to, he was the CEO. In fact, he made an announcement yesterday that for commercial aspects of Microsoft, he is bringing a new CEO who will report to him, right? So that means he will concentrate on all the technologies which are required. Mind you, the kind of investments which Microsoft board is allowing Satya Nadella to do, saying that, your time is getting wasted in all the other things, counting dollars, etc., which is needed, by the way, but you concentrate on this new thing which is happening and then run the show like this, right? By the way, Satya Nadella within the company, even when he was not a CEO, was responsible for all the cloud solutions which Microsoft developed. In fact, that technical stream helped him to become the CEO after Steve Ballmer, right? So it is all very well to earn an MBA degree and then saying that I don't care about technology, right? But I can trust me. You can go to any inside of any company and ask for saying that who is respected, right, within those companies. It will be invariably some technology fellow sitting in one corner and then earning his respect. So with that, thank you so much, and then I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your enriching and the visionary thoughts. Your words reminds like innovation thrives where experience meets the enthusiasm. Now comes the moment of the pride, recognizing the excellence and the innovation. We proceed to the best paper and the best poster award distribution. I request the dignitaries on the dais to kindly do the honors. I invite Dr. Anita S. Prasad to propose the names.
Good afternoon, one and all. Seeking the blessings of Sutturu Guru Parampara, I would like to invite the best paper awards for the participants. I request Harish Barshilia sir to give the token of appreciation. In track 1, the best paper was shared by 2 papers. The paper titled Ferroelectric Field Effective Transistors, Exploring Materials Challenges and Innovations in Non-Volatile Memory Technologies, presented by Harsha Raghu. She's there. Then another paper titled CNN-driven feature extraction with ANN-based prediction for network on-chip congestion estimation, presented by Shruti R. Track 2, best paper was taken by the paper titled Automated Pothole Detection and Repair Robot. She is not there. Okay. And once again, track 3 is shared by 2 papers. One of the paper is Green Tech in Pet Care, a sustainable approach to smart feeding system, presented by Sonia Maria. The another paper in track 3, titled Car Damage Detection Using UNet Neural Networks. Track 4, a review on miniaturization and bandwidth enhancement in defected ground structure in antenna technology. Then track 5, the paper titled Leveraging AI for Early Detection and Enhanced Healthcare, Meta case and team. Now I request Shashidhar Dongre sir to give the token of appreciation with the track 6 titled Improving Lung CT Clarity Using Frequency Domain Artifact Reduction, author Benaka. Track 7, an ensemble PCA DNN framework for accurate detection of Parkinson disease, the author Sonali Nandish Manali and team. Track 8, titled Optimizing Gas to Battery System Under Emission Constraints. And the last paper award goes to the paper title, A Computationally Efficient Iterative Version of Matrix Pencil Electromechanical Mode Identification Algorithm by Krishna Rao. And the best poster award goes to Shashwatar Dhananjay S. Smart Home Energy Management using AI and Edge Computing. Yes, please. And the another best poster award, Nandish SU, IoT-based geofencing and food warehousing tracking using convolution neural net. Another poster award, Green Tech in Pet Care, a sustainable approach to smart feeding system, Pranav Visista. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Congratulations to all the awardees. Your hard work and creativity have set a new benchmarks. Awards are not the end of the journey, but the beginning of the higher aspiration. We now move to the certificate distribution ceremony. I request the dignitaries on the dais to present the certificate to our participants and the contributors. Manasa HC, RV University. Kishore, Sumuk and Sunita from BNMIT. To get ready, Parvati Bhaskar, Madhukar BS. Next, Sonali Nandish Manoli and team. To get ready, Deepa SN, Arpita Rakshita Kiran Kumar R. To get ready with Vantika Sharma, Chirantan, Pramati, Sujay from VVCE. Any representatives from VVCE? Yeah. To get ready with Sudarshan, Priyanshi Divedi from BNMIT. Next, from ATME College, Bhavya Uzma Tapsum Gayatri S. From BNMIT, Sanjana, Sriram and Sri Hari. From JSSSTU, Kesar Skanda Sai, Mallikarjun. From BMS College of Engineering, Manjunath Shivangi, Apurva. Dr. Krishna Rao and Professor K.N. Shubhanga from NMAM Institute of Technology. From RV Institute of Technology and Management, S. Nikhil, Pravardhan Prasad, Monish T.R. From the same RV Institute of Technology and Management, Riddhi M. Mayur, Mithali, Sridevi. Next, I request National Institute of Engineering College participants, Priyanka PM, Nikita, Shashidhara HR, and Shruti R. From JNNC, Sunita and Prajwal Singh.
इसको बताओ यार।
Thank you, dignitaries. A hearty congratulations to all the participant recipients. Your participation has added a great value to the ICTEG 2025. Every participant is a pillar of this conference. We now invite one or two to share the feedback and their experience about this ICTEG 2025. Anybody who wants to come and please share their feedback?
Good afternoon, dignitaries, honored guests, fellow participants, faculty members, and students. Well, on the whole, I can only thank you for organizing the entire conference very professionally. More than what has happened during the last 2 days, starting from the very beginning, the entire review process was indeed very thorough and professional. The reviewers listed the strengths and the drawbacks of the paper very meticulously. And that helped us to refine the papers. That's the first thing I wish to thank you for. And thereafter, in the last 2 days, all the organizers, in fact, all the speakers were indeed experts in their field and did their job very professionally. The organizers and the volunteers were indeed up to the task. Food was good and all arrangements were good. Only thing is, maybe schedules went off a bit here and there. Maybe we as participants were also partly responsible for that. On the whole, true to your reputation and true to your legacy, you have organized this conference well. I wish to congratulate you and thank you for that same once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful reflections. Your words inspire us to strive even higher. It's our honor to invite our guiding force and the visionary leader, Dr. Yuli Madheswamy, sir, the honorary chair, to deliver the presidential remarks.
Participants are requested to stay back. Soon after they take their certificates, they think that their job is over. Okay. So, ellarigu namaskara. Actually, when I prepared my speech, I wrote this as good afternoon to all of you. Now I will change it to good evening to all of you. A very good evening to all of you. At the outset, I submit my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Sri Sutturu Guru Parampara and seek their divine blessings. Dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Harish C. Parshilia, Sri Shashidhar Dongre, Dr. Sudarshan Patel Kulkarni, Dr. Mallikarjuna Swami, Dr. M.G. Veena, the panel members, Sri Srinivas Vardarajan, Dr. Ravichandra Kulkarni, Dr. Tejasvi Iregowda. It gives me immense pleasure to address this distinguished gathering at the valedictory function of the International Conference on Emerging Technologies in Electronics and Green Energy, ICETEG 2025. Over the past 2 days, we have witnessed an excellent confluence of ideas, innovations, and interactions among researchers, academicians, and industry experts from across the globe. So conferences like this play a pivotal role in bridging the gap between academia and industry
fostering meaningful collaborations and nurturing research that aligns with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. They serve as dynamic platforms where innovative ideas meet real-world applications and where theoretical knowledge is transformed into tangible technological advancements. Through deliberations, keynote talks, paper presentations, and panel discussions, conference encourage the exchange of global perspectives, the best practices, enabling participants to understand emerging technologies from multiple dimensions like scientific, industrial, and societal. They help in identifying key research challenges, promote interdisciplinary dialogue, and open avenue for future collaborations that can lead to impactful innovations in electronics, renewable energy, and sustainable systems. Moreover, events like ICETEG 2025 provide young researchers and students with a rare opportunity to interact with distinguished experts. Students gain exposure to cutting-edge technologies and build confidence to take their ideas forward. They cultivate a spirit of inquiry, innovation, and entrepreneurship, which are essential traits in shaping technologically empowered and environmentally responsible future. I therefore encourage all participants to sustain the momentum built through this conference, to continue engaging in such academic and professional platforms, to explore joint research initiatives, and to collaborate across disciplines. Let this conference be the beginning of new partnerships, new discoveries, and renewed commitment toward harnessing science and technology for the betterment of society, industry, and environment. At the end, I will summarize what our dignitaries told. Harish Barshilaya explained about the disposal of e-waste, taking the example of a banyan. A banyan will be, when it is brand new, it will be used as an innerwear. When it is torn, it will be used to swipe the floor, and finally it can be used to ignite something or to get the water boiled. So in that way, what comes from the nature goes to the nature. So what is the challenge here is, being technologists, electronic engineers and electrical engineers, we have to find ways to manage this e-waste so that what comes from nature goes to the nature. And he also told that India will become an advanced country by 2047, and government has 50 missions for this. So who are the recipients of this? Actually we. In spite of age, whether young or middle-aged or old, we have to look into that and take the best benefit out of this. And he also told that ours is the best recipient, our country is the best recipient of the solar energy, unlike other countries. So apply your brains towards the way in which you can utilize the solar energy to the best possible extent, so that we can use or we can stop relying on other energy sources. And during his talk, Shashidhar Dongre told that after reading a phrase on a cup of tea, he told that cultivate the habit of communicating the knowledge what you have. How do you communicate the knowledge? By writing articles, by writing papers, and make them published. And also he told that company rates the technical people by the number of papers they write. So wherever you go, paper writing is very, very important. And what knowledge you have, that becomes that is valued only when it is shared with others. And our Rohit said that knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. So upgrade your technology by sparing some time every week, at least 1 or 2 weeks per week. And wherever you go, a person with technology is definitely respected. And I have seen that the Best Paper Award took by the team of young students led by the enthusiastic teachers. I congratulate all of them for their effort. Not only them, and also the other paper writers who have come forward to prepare the papers for this conference and presented their papers in this. And I have also observed that the Best Paper Award was taken mostly by IEEE volunteers. I think IEEE volunteers are more have more involvement in these technical activities. I request all others to participate in this and come forward. And I also thank one of the participants who gave a wonderful feedback on our this conference. So, my heartfelt congratulations to the organizing committee of the departments of ECE, EAE and EEE for hosting this remarkable event at JSS Science and Technology University. Thank you all, and I wish you continued success in your academic and professional endeavors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. To express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this conference a success, I invite Professor Suprita L. to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to deliver a vote of thanks. Bowing at the lotus feet of His Holiness Dr. Sri Shivaratri Rajendra Mahaswami Ji and offering my sincere pranams to His Holiness Dr. Shivaratri Deshikendra Mahaswami Ji, we are deeply grateful for the divine blessings received from His Holiness on the occasion of the International Conference on Emerging Technologies in Electronics and Green Energy, which is nothing but ICETEG 2025. On the behalf of the organizing committee, I express my profound gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Dr. Harish Barshilia, Chief Scientist, CSIR NAL. Thank you, sir. We are honored to have you as chief guest on this occasion. Our heartfelt thanks to Sri Shashidhara Dongre, sir, who is the IEEE Senior Member, Global Head Processes and Quality, L&T Technology Services, Mysore, for all the support in this event. Thank you, sir. I thank Dr. Sudarshan Patil Kulkarni, sir, the General Chair of ICETEG, for delivering the welcome address. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Mallikarjun Swami, sir, Associate Professor and Head, for addressing the gathering. A special thanks to Dr. N.G. Veena, General Chair, ICETEG, for enthusiastically giving the detailed report of the conference. Our sincere thanks to Dr. U.B. Mahadev Swami, sir, Honorary Chair, for delivering the presidential remarks on this occasion. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to all the chairs and executive members of the IEEE Bangalore and Mysuru subsections. We thank our proud sponsors, MathWorks, IDP, International Education Specialist, Innotech Integration Service Private Limited, Tanti Automatics, Core for Engineering, BNG Solar, ICE Institute for Climate and Environment have generously supported for the execution of this conference. We also thank the press and media for covering and capturing the highlights of the event, and your support is highlighted in today's event is deeply appreciated. We extend our respectful thanks to Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Principal, Deputy Registrar, Assistant Registrar Academic, Controller of Examinations, Vice Principal of SJCE, all the Deans of Science, Academic, Research and Management of our Institute, Placement Officer, Finance Officer, and all the academic and administrative staffs of JSS, STU and SJCE for their valuable assistance and guidance in planning and organizing IEEE ICETEG 2025. A special note of appreciation to the Advisory Committee of the ICETEG, Technical Program Committee, Reviewers, Track Chairs, Session Chairs, Publication Chairs, Finance and Steering Committee members, all the dignitaries who have joined us offline and online, who have made this conference a grand success. Sincere thanks to all the heads of the departments, faculty members and technical staff of JSS, STU and SJCE, and to every member of the organizing team for their tireless efforts and dedication. Special thanks to Manjunath P from MMRC for live streaming all the sessions for both the days, who was there with us for both the days continuously, whether the participants have attended the sessions or not, Manjunath sir has attended all the sessions. Thank you, sir. Special thanks to Ms. Charvi for the invocation, Photon Club volunteers of Photon Club of the Institute for beautifully capturing the event, and Mr. Rohit Menon, Assistant Professor, for gracefully conducting the Master of Ceremony. Special thanks to our student volunteers from IEEE Student Branch and also E&I student volunteers, without whom this event wouldn't be as successful. More than 10 days they have been working for this event. Thank you guys again. Most importantly, thanks to all the participating scholars, researchers and delegates, without whom this conference cannot be a reality. Finally, a big thank you to one and all present here for being a part of this memorable occasion and contributing to the success of IEEE ICETEG 2025. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for the graceful acknowledgements. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into an extraordinary memories. As we draw the curtain of the ICETEG 2025, let us carry forward the spirit of innovation and collaboration that has united us. The end of one of the event is a seed for the next great idea. With this, we come to the close of this valedictory function. Wishing everybody continued success and a safe journey ahead. Thank you all for a wonderful evening. High tea is being arranged in the first floor, and the certificate to the people who have worked tirelessly. You are going to receive the certificates